we have your weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. By now you know what we do in the weekends, right? I hope you do. We go through the Apple news, right? I usually sit back on the weekends. I have one beer. Today I have a Noon Whistle Brewski right here, a great brewery out of Lombard, Illinois. And then we go through about 20 or 25 different Apple-related news stories, some tech sales, some Apple sales. So if you love Apple, love tech, love everything else in between, kick back and relax. It's the weekend, and let's get into the Apple news. All right, for story number one, we're going to go through some rumors here. And what do we have first? Right over here from 9 to 5 Mac. It says Apple glasses targeting 2026 launch. So what does this mean? I think these are just some sunglasses. Remember the Meta Ray-Ban glasses? It looks just like those, right? Well, it's kind of similar. It says right here, Mark Gurman recently reported that Apple's accelerating its plans for glasses with the launch now targeted for 2026. These glasses will have cameras, microphones, and speakers, allowing them to analyze the external world and take requests via Siri voice assistant. Siri kind of worries me there. And handle tasks such as phone calls, music playback, and live translations and turn-by-turn directions. Not too bad. So these are not going to be the goggles you're used to like Vision Pro, but actually like Meta Ray-Ban glasses, right? And those are actually going to be kind of, I think a lot of Apple people are waiting for this. I think so. Now here's another article from Mac Rumors down here. And it says down here, let me just see here. It says right here, Apple's actively working on new chips specifically designed for smart glasses that would compete with Google's XR glasses and Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses, according to Bloomberg. These chips are currently in development, and Apple is targeting the mass production 2026 or 2027. It says he notes that such product wouldn't be a proper augmented reality device like the Apple Vision Pro, but it would include AI capabilities, microphones, and cameras to create a pretty good user experience. For whatever that means, pretty good user experience. They're being kind of vague right now. More from Mac Rumors here. It says, work on the smart glasses has reportedly ramped up. Apple plans to produce large quantities of the prototypes by the end of this year, giving the company time to test before mass production and public unveiling. I sure hope they get that series solved. According to Bloomberg, the Apple employee said that the glasses are similar to Meta glasses, but better made. Of course it has to be, right? It's Apple. Anyways, you get the idea here. This is kind of the first thing. It actually says, despite setbacks, Apple's CEO Tim Cook remains hell-bent right here on bringing true augmented reality glasses to the market before Meta can achieve the same feat. Meta's working on it, so we're going to see if this comes, obviously who's going to win this race. But those glasses could be pretty cool, especially if they can film widescreen. I know Meta can only do up and down. If you can do like really good shots on video, it could help a lot of YouTubers out, so I'm looking forward to it. All right, rumor number two may not even be a rumor anymore. It might actually be true 100%. We're going to find out shortly here. But anyways, over here, Mac Rumors, it says right here, Apple again rumored to announce iOS 26 next month. And I actually, before you say, well, what is iOS 26? Aren't we going up to like 19 or 20? It says right here, looks like Apple really will be jumping to iOS 26 this year. Let's just scroll down here. It says, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman was first to report that Apple was planning to start basically tying the version numbers to its software platforms to release years. For example, Gurman expects Apple to announce iOS 26 at WWDC next month instead of iOS 19. Now you're going to say, why 26? We're in 2025. They go on to say because the majority of this will be in 2026, so it's going to be called iOS 2026. Kind of weird, right? So if you look down here, and I read some other articles now, this is almost 100%. It says the names of Apple's next operating systems, according to Gurman, iOS 26, iPad 26, macOS 26. So you got to get your head wrapped around this. They're all going to be, the good thing is they're all going to be the same number now, based off the year, but maybe a year ahead, I guess, because of how they do this. And it says the names that were expected to be rumored before this are all these down here, like iOS 19, you're going to hear that, or, macOS 16, but it's going to be macOS 26. So if you hear that, rumor, I guess it's really not a rumor anymore, I think, then you're going to know what I mean. So keep that on the radar. It's not a huge change, but it's something that's just kind of shocking. Okay, rumor number three, and we've talked about this before, but it's coming a little bit closer now. HomePad this year. This is the rumor from 9 to 5 Mac and Mark Gurman. Speaking of the Home OS, the brand new HomePad device that was once expected to launch this spring got a timing update. Mark Gurman reports that the product could hit the market by the end of the year. He does add at its earliest, but the general tone of the update seems positive, with the 2025 launch looking likely. And we've seen pictures of this before. We all know that this is being held up by the AI and obviously, Siri and stuff like that. Google's trying to work on their AI to get it up to speed actually, because this isn't going to work too well without it. So overall, that's another rumor there. I think that's actually a pretty, solid one as well. So by the end of this year, and at worst case, maybe the first couple months of next year, we are going to have this little home device, and we're going to see what it's all about. So it'll be a brand new product kind of in Apple's lineup. And then finally, one more rumor here, and we'll get into some other stories here. Right over here from Mac Rumors, it says Apple to launch dedicated gaming app in iOS 19, although now it's going to be iOS 26. Just remember that. So Apple's working on a standalone multi-platform app for its games. The app will basically let Apple users launch games, plus it will have sections for in-game achievements, leaderboards, and editorial content and communication. So if you kind of go down here, it says Apple plans to pre-install the app on the iPhone, iPad, Mac, and Apple TV later this year, basically which corresponds to the iOS, we'll call it 26 for now on, or macOS 26.2. So basically it says this app is to replace Game Center. So why would Apple be doing this? Why are they creating a standalone app? It's really easy. I went in to read the article, and I also kind of agree with them that the Apple Arcade has a lot of good games in it, and so does, Apple's trying to make all these new games, but they're not being seen by a lot of people because they're just scattered throughout the App Store. By creating its own app, it's going to put it front and center, so people are going to go in there and discover that app, open that app up. It's going to have all the newest games. You'll be able to achieve stuff with it. I think it's going to really get the gaming industry for them going by actually having it in your face all the time with a very specific app, so you don't have to go into App Store, then games, then Google Arcade and all that stuff. So I think it's actually a positive that Apple's moving in the right direction here with games. You guys tell me in the comments. All right, the next story is an interesting one, I think, to everyone out there. Now, the price is going to worry me a little bit here, although we're going to look for some sales on here. But what about a 5K new Mac screen, not by Apple, but a screen that's 5K, that's actually glossy, but it actually has touch as well? How about that, right? Right over here, Mac Rumors. It says review. It says Alogic's Clarity 5K Touch delivers a sharp, high-resolution display with touchscreen support. You can kind of see a picture of it right over here. 5K, 218 pixels per inch with a glossy screen, right? So let's kind of scroll down here for a second, and let's just see here. Let's just see what they say right here. It says Alogic's Clarity 5K Touch offers a resolution, obviously, of 5120 by 2880, packing that many pixels into a 27-inch. We know that. Display quality of the Clarity 5 Touch was excellent in my testing, essentially basically indistinguishable from the MacBook Pro aside from promotion support or my usual LG 5K external display running Retina mode. Text and images appear ultra sharp. You can see in here 1000 to 1 contrast ratio, only 400 nits of brightness, though that could be an issue there. Typical SDR brightness indoors. It's actually a pretty good monitor. They're saying that the clarity is very good. You can see in here. Color calibration appears to be excellent out of the box with everything looking vibrant yet natural and closely matching other displays in my setup. So it says it has 100% support for our sRGB gamut, 99% for Adobe RGB DC IP3 gamuts, and it features HDR 400 support. You can see the clarity there. It's also going to have a really good stand compared to what Apple gives you, obviously, so you're not going to be paying extra for that. That's a big key here because obviously, the stand is a big part of, it costs you a couple extra $100 if you want something that's going to move around, and you need that with Apple. So, because this is going to be very close to the Apple monitor price. But let's keep moving. There's more interesting stuff. Okay, so here's a picture of it. You can see it in here. It's going to have kind of a silver back on it, and more will come. You can obviously visit the website and get more information. We'll have a link to that in the description. As we scroll down, though, here's the connections. It's got a couple USB-A's for connecting into it. It kind of works as kind of like a little hub here. It's got HDMI, display port, USB-C, audio jack, and then a kind of a DC in as well. That's not too bad. But the main thing here is going to be actually the touchscreen. But is it going to be workable on a Mac? Okay, then it goes on to say here, then there are unique touchscreen capabilities of the Clarity 5K Touch. As Alogic claims it's the world's first 5K touchscreen display, and we've yet to see anything to dispute this among the smaller, basically number of 27-inch 5K displays. We know that there's no touchscreen right now. I've already covered this much functionality in my reviews, so you get the idea here. But basically, you install a Mac driver from the Alogic product page. Windows machine should support the functionality out of the box, and then grant the appropriate permissions, and you will be able to interact with macOS via a 5-point multi-touch or any active stylus supporting Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0, such as Alogic's Clarity Active Stylus Pen. So you might need to get a special pen if you're going to be using a pen on it, but it does support 5-point touch on it, which is actually really good. A lot of these things are only like 1 or 2 point touch. This is actually going to be a lot better. So far, it's looking good. And this guy goes on to say that it's not to say that the functionality doesn't come in handy on this kind of touch screen. And the most useful scenario for my touch input, in my opinion, is a multi-display setup where the Clarity 5K Touch serves as a secondary monitor. I keep my mail, Slack, and a few other apps basically open on a display off the main side of the display here. And since it's nice to be able to reach over and quickly tap or swipe to look at emails or scroll through my feeds without having to move my mouse or cursor back and forth between the displays. So he's using it with two different screens, and he's just reaching over to the second screen. Now, I'm not sure you'd need a 5K screen for that, right? He goes on to say that you're obviously going to get it dirty and you have to go ahead and wash it from time to time. As long as you don't have like light reflecting off of it, it is glossy, you won't really see it. Overall, you guys post in the comments, what do you think? But before you do that, it's the cost, right? That's the main thing here. And this is where it kind of starts to fall apart. It says the Clarity 5K Touch is normally priced at almost $1,600, though it is basically on sale right now for $1,439.99. So when you look at this cost here, it's 5K 27-inch, 60 hertz, but it does have the touch capability and the stand, right? So is that worth the price of getting this instead of actually the studio display? You guys have to tell me in the comments. Would you still get the studio display over this? Let's see what you guys say. Okay, for the next article, if you're going to be getting a new iPhone soon, there's going to be even more changes to the sizes. Right here, Mac Rumors. iPhone 17 display sizes, what to expect. Apple's iPhone 17 lineup will include 4 phones, and 2 of those are going up to get all new display sizes. So we're going to go down here. So what they expect to come out here is the iPhone 17. It's going to be going up to 6.27 inch from 6.12. So just the normal 17 is going to be getting bigger. The iPhone 17 Air is 6.55 inches. The iPhone 17 Pro looks like it's going to basically be identical to the 16 Pro. And then the iPhone 17 Pro Max looks like it's no change. So it's really going to be these 2 phones more or less that are obviously one phone changing, but this other phone is going to be a brand new phone more or less. But if you want just a standard iPhone 17 here, it looks like now it's going to be going up. So post in the comments, what do you think? A lot of people wanted the mini to come back, or they wanted, the smaller SE phone and things like that, but that didn't come about. And a lot of people like the smaller phone, but they're not making it anymore. In fact, they're actually getting bigger. So if you just wanted the standard iPhone 17, it's going to even be bigger yet. So when are they going to stop getting bigger? That's the question. Who knows? So, it goes on to, it talks about the promotion and all that stuff coming to all of them, 120 hertz and everything. At the end of the day, though, they're getting bigger. Okay, now if you've watched my channel before, I did maybe it was about a month or 2 ago, I did a review of this right here. It's a leather case for my MacBook Air over here, and it's beautiful. It's a full leather case here. High quality. They're like $100, but it's full grain leather for business and stuff. And I'll actually have a link to that stuff in the video description for you. But this company actually they make great iPhone cases as well. Just want to kind of show you really quickly. If you're looking for a leather iPhone case that's actually very kind of, flashy here, I love them. It comes in red here. They got a green color right here. I'll show you some close-ups of those as well. But you can see the quality that goes in them, and they actually have kind of metal, I guess, accents on them, but it's wrapped in real leather. It's not fake leather, but it's real leather. Here's right here, this company called Sandmarc right here. You can see both of them right there. If you look over here on the website over here, you can see here's their website. It says in California, Sandmarc right here. So you can go over here, shop over here, and then I go into basically, let me see, cases right here. They make a whole bunch of different products. Check out their website. But if you go into cases and you kind of scroll down here, see if I can find the one. So here's the green one right here. It's $59, and then they actually have a red one. I actually talked about some brown ones. They just make normal brown ones. I had those as well when I showed them maybe 2 or 3 months ago. So if you like brown or light brown, yellow, you name it, they have all the different colors in here. $59. It's full leather. They're actually really good quality cases here, so definitely check them out. I just wanted to give a shout out to them. A company called Sandmarc. Pretty good stuff. All right, let's move on to some sales now, some Apple product sales. What do we have? Pretty good pricing. I think this is a low price alert for Amazon. Right over here, we got the 2024 Mac Mini. Look at the cost on Amazon. Now, this is subject to change at any moment, so you could be watching this and obviously it won't be this cost, but use this as the low price alert. It's down to $488.63, 18% off right now, and this is on Amazon. This is not even getting the school discount or anything like that. So really phenomenal deal. That's an incredible deal for that computer. But let's just keep moving here. This is the computer that I recommend really everyone should get, though. If you're thinking about the Mac Mini, right here, 24 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD. Now it's only $876. It's 12% off, but still $125 off. And you kind of get something for free here. They're basically getting almost all the RAM for free or almost all of the storage for free. So anyways, this is the one that the configuration I think would be perfect long-term for a lot of people. Mind me, the base level is fine for almost a lot, for 60% of the people. But if you need a little bit more, I think this is kind of the sweet spot right there. If you're willing to spend around $850 or something like that. Again, here are the Airs again. They're back on sale at $856, 14% off. I thought that was kind of a weird number. $856.07 from Apple. I wonder where they come up with that cost. Who knows, right? But anyways, it's down to around the $850 mark here, and that's the sky blue. So that's actually a pretty good sale going on right now. And what else do we got? So here we go. This is the 11-inch M4. This is kind of the really, the one that's all built up with 2 terabytes of storage here. Look at this, 2 terabytes, $15.99. But this would usually cost you $19.99 actually for this 11-inch M4 here. And it's got that huge 2 terabytes. So if you're using a lot of storage here, this one's on super sale, lowest price in 30 days. It is 20% off here. If you want to pick this one up, get it quickly. Okay, just a while ago we talked about macOS 26, right? That's the new number. Over here, Mac Rumors says macOS 26 rumored to drop support for these 5 Macs. So when this comes out, we're dropping support for 5 different Macs. And what are those? Here it is right here. So if you have the MacBook Pro 2018, iMac 2019, geez, that's not good. iMac Pro 2017, that's not good either. Mac Mini 2018 or the MacBook Air 2020, but the Intel-based, it's going to be the OS that's dropping support for all of these, like right here. According to individuals familiar with this matter, following Macs will not be supported at next year's OS, next version of macOS. See it right there? So if you have any of these, now the ones that will be supported here, Mac Pro 2019 and later, iMac 2020 and later, Mac Pro 2019 and later, Mac Mini M1 and later, Mac Studio all models, MacBook Air M1 and later. So it's kind of moving quickly. So any of these Intel are slowly kind of slipping away. The iMac I have over here is a 2017. It's already gone. But now they're up to like what, the 2020 is the last iMac that can get the support. So sooner or later those will be gone. You'll have to be using OpenCore to get any type of OS updates. I mean, it's inevitable, right? But I wish Apple would just give us maybe 10 years. 10 years would be a great number. But then they wouldn't sell as many computers, so they'll never do it. But at the end of the day, is yours on the list? Let me know. Okay, so we all know about Apple's AI kind of debacle, how bad they have been with it, and they haven't even released it yet fully. But there's a couple companies that might save them. I think this is how Apple's going to go about doing it. They're going to be buying companies to fix these issues, all right? Mac Rumors right here, but there's something coming that's actually got me excited. Shortcut creators, whoever created shortcuts, debut Sky, an AI helper that understands everything on your Mac screen. So it says the creators of Shortcuts, an app that was acquired by Apple and deeply integrated into iOS and macOS, we know that for a fact, today unveiled their latest project, Sky. Sky provides an AI helper that can assist you with everything you do on your Mac. So they have a screen of it right over here. You can see it in here. So let's just go in here. Sky is designed to float basically over what you're doing. So AI is just a click away. It understands what's on your Mac screen. This kind of worries me. And is able to take actions on the apps that you have installed. It's able to help with answering questions, writing, planning, coding, and much more. It can be customized with prompts, scripts, and shortcuts. Sky knows that you have what apps you have open, what you're doing, and what actions are possible based on that information. Sky has built-in integrations with calendar, messages, notes, Safari, Finder, Mail, and screenshots. So it's able to do things like make a calendar event for a dinner based on a conversation you actually had, believe it or not, and look up the ideal place to go. Custom prompts and tools integrated natively into Sky. So you can see that. So it kind of goes on down here. It says right here, this is the part that got me excited. It says Sky works with either ChatGPT 4.1 or Claude, but it's deep basically into Mac OS integration. It is able to do more than just one LLM alone. So you can see in here, actually, let me see if I can get to the next article. Really quickly, this is from 9 to 5 Mac. It kind of better sums it up. It says, what sets Sky apart from anything I've tried or seen on Mac OS to date is that it uses LLMs to understand which windows are open on your Mac, what's inside them, and what actions you can perform based on those apps' content. It's a lofty goal, and at a high level, it's predicted upon 2 core concepts. First, Sky comes with a collection of built-in tools for we already talked about that. This is the part down here, though, that I wanted to talk about. At the same time, Sky allows power users to make their own tools that combine custom LLM prompts with actions powered by shortcuts, shell scripts, AppleScript, custom interactions, and down the road, even MCP. So these are all custom tools being built. So this program is going to allow you to actually kind of, shortcuts on Mac. You're going to be able to integrate it with ChatGPT and actually create your own kind of thing going on there. So you can ask it to do something maybe for your home or something. It's going to go through a list of steps. You can ask it to create documents. It's going to go at the ChatGPT, pull in. It's going to do all this stuff, but you can create your own custom LLMs, which is really, really cool here. So I think Apple's going to end up buying this company when this app comes out. This is my theory here, and learn from it. This because they already bought the Shortcuts app from them, and now they're going to buy this one, and this is kind of how Apple will be saved with the AI. So it's going to take a little bit longer, I think. I mean, Apple's going to introduce their own, but I think this is going to be a key with these kind of companies. And again, you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think? One more sip here. All right. Now, Thunderbolt 5 docks, there's not many of them. I did a review of one, I believe it was by Anker. Long story short, they're expensive. That was $399. They're still expensive, but there's one that's a little bit cheaper, and it's got some good ports on it. So I just found this, and I thought it's in pre-order now, but you can go ahead and pre-order it with actually the cost. Right here from OWC, Thunderbolt 5 dock right here, it's going to be $329. You can pre-order right now, based off of the OWC website. We're just going to kind of scroll down to what it has here. So we can see in the front of it, it has a power button. It's got Thunderbolt 5 right here, and it's got USB 3.2, 10 gigabit per second USB-A, audio jack on the front, and then 2 SD card readers. That's actually key there. On the back of it, or whatever, I guess you can turn it each way, whatever way you want. It's got a Kensington lock, the power in. It's got only a 2.5 gigabit per second. I guess I always want 10 there. I'm not sure why they're not doing that. It's got to be a bandwidth limitation. Then it's got 2 USB-As. This is one's at 5 gigabit per second. This one's at 10. And then it's got 3 more Thunderbolt 5, but this is actually the host port. So you got 1, 2, 3 Thunderbolt 5s. You got 3 USB-As, right? I guess you got the Ethernet jack. You got the SD card readers. Actually, what's this? This is another one. You get the idea. So it's right there. It's very similar to the one I reviewed before. And they're actually just launching this, like I said. You can hook up everything in the world to this thing if you want to. It's still really expensive. I mean, I think these things are going to come down slowly. I mean, I think $249 is a good price for something like this. I think when you get up to $329, when people kind of compare it to the cost of the Mac Mini even, it's getting expensive, right? But this is still the best price I've seen on a something like this. I know there's a bunch of them out there. Some of them are even more expensive in the 400s. And I'm cheap, and I'm sure a lot of people are. But I guess for businesses and people that do this for a living, obviously they may need this. Okay, this next article here has got me a little bit worried about life in general with AI. We're going to see what happens in the future here. I always say that, right? Right over here from Mac Rumors, it says Jony Ive's AI product, third core device after MacBook and iPhone. Details have leaked about the device that OpenAI is developing with former Apple designer Jony Ive. So OpenAI, Sam Altman, acquired I.O., which is owned by Jony Ive. He's the hardware design company that used to work for Apple. So you can see they're creating this weird device, right? So it says right here, Ive and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman revealed details about the project on an internal call reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. It says, according to the report, the device isn't a pair of glasses, given that Ive has been skeptical about building something that you have to actually wear. It's not a phone either, since Ive and Altman want to keep people or wean them off screens. Rather, it's described as a third-core device after a MacBook Pro and an iPhone. This product will be capable of being fully aware of a user's surroundings and life. This is what it has me worried. We will be unobtrusive, yeah, sure, able to rest in one's pocket or on one's desk, and would be a third-core device a person would put in their desk after a MacBook and an iPhone. So they're claiming that's going to be a third device out of all the devices out there that you actually have on your desk. Then they go on to say here, according to Altman, OpenAI is not going to ship 100 million devices literally on day one, but he believes the company will ship that amount of high-quality devices faster than any company has ever shipped 100 million of something new before. Think about that for a second. So basically, he says, I gave Altman a prototype of the first device to take home to test, said OpenAI CEO. I've been able to live with it, and I think it's the coolest piece of technology that the world will have ever seen. Right there. So what is this thing? You're not going to basically be looking at a screen, so it's going to just be something on your body. Maybe it's a necklace, maybe it's in your pocket, but it's able to kind of know where you are and understand your entire world. It's going to be listening to you at all times. If it has a camera, that's even worse. So are we ever going to be able to get away from this? Honest to God. I mean, I think things are cool, right? Until they're not. And then the whole world crumbles because there's no jobs left. And so we're going to see what's going on with this. I mean, that thing that you said to your friend at the bar, then you lose your whole job in your house because, I mean, there's things that could happen because of this, right? Do you want these companies with everything, you're just digging into your personal life? I really don't, but I know a lot of people are just kind of like, lemmings, I guess, and they just follow along until everything collapses. I'm going to get comments for that, right? But anyways, I know my viewers aren't, so that's my safety net right there. Anyways, post in the comments, what do you think? Who knows? Okay, this next one, I'm not going to get into too many details. I'll actually put links to all this stuff in the video description. I just wanted to help people out. So right here, there's an awesome article. Since I always talk about these sites, this is from Apple Insider. It says how to upgrade the SSD in your M4 Mac Mini. You can see a picture of it here. So if you have an M4 Mac Mini, they actually have a whole guide in here. Like I said, I'm not going to stop and go through everything. Taking the Mac Mini apart. You go into here, and then it says after. They have links to where where it shows that. And this is after the reassembly, how to get it back up and going. speed testing it. So basically they have this whole thing you can go through here, and it's got all the links to where you need to go to do everything. So it's a really good article there. And then what they actually are doing, let me see if I can find it here, is they actually, the one that they're kind of recommending, now again, I'm not affiliated with them, I'm not getting a cut or anything like that, it was just in the article. They're saying this one right here, this is actually, what is the website here? expandmacmini.com. And actually, let's go into shop. Let's see what they have in here. This is the site that I guess they were getting it from. If you kind of go down here, so they only have this one I saw that was available, but it's way cheaper. It's 2 terabyte SSD expansion module for the Mac Mini M4. And you can see it right here. And how much is it? Let's see in here. Where does it say the price? $320. So, I mean, 2 terabytes for $320. I mean, can you imagine how much that would have been from Apple? It would have been a massive amount of money. So obviously that's a good deal. It doesn't look like they have any more right now in stock except for that 2 terabyte one. So you got to go all in or nothing. But anyways, use that guide. I'll have a link to it. It gives you a whole bunch of good information. I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, we got kind of a low price alert for Amazon again, so I might as well show it to you right over here. The Apple 2024 MacBook Pro M4. So this is going to be the M4 chip, not the M4 Pro chip, kind of the the base level, but it's still got the 16 gigs, 512, 14-inch though. It's got the better screen, all that stuff, ProMotion screen. It's down at $1360, usually $1599. So you've seen that around, usually the lowest I think I've ever seen it was $1399. It's usually around $1450 or something, on sale even. But $1360, that's what, over $200 and something off right now. And it's the brand new one. So it's not the Pro chip, but it's going to be great. It's got the great screen. You got the 14 inches. You got all the ports on it, the SD card reader. How can you go wrong? Okay, so if you watch me before, I'm kind of, I get nervous about AI and how the world's changing. I'm a little bit older. I'm not in my 20s any longer, obviously, long way away. But anyways, this has got me even, tell me in the comments, is this a little crazy for you? Because I'm going to kind of, what's going through my head when I think about this, let me just tell you what I'm talking about. Mac rumors. Amazon can now deliver your next iPhone with a drone. So if you told somebody in the 1960s that you'd be basically delivering a computer that fits into the pocket in your backyard, you may think you're crazy. And that's true, but that's not the part that, let me just think about this. So it says Amazon today announced that it recently received approval from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration to offer drone delivery for several new categories of items, including Apple products like iPhones, AirPods, and AirTags. You see that right there? So Apple launched the Prime drone delivery in 2012. Long story short, it says it's basically only going to be available right now in Phoenix, Arizona, College Station, Texas, and other areas of the U.S. But long story short, they finally kind of accepted it, and there's going to be iPhones in the sky being delivered by drones, right? Now, on paper, this looks great. It says it can only do it in certain weather and all this kind of stuff. That's all fine and dandy. In a perfect world, if we lived in utopia, you would see the thing coming, right? You'd go down and grab it, and then you go in your house, and you'd be fine. But in today's reality of world, if you have a drone flying with an Apple phone in it, right? That's worth about $1,200. Every thief in the world, right? Gang member, whatever you want to, they're going to be looking up there. They're going to be watching the drone go right into your yard, into the backyard. And if they don't steal it right there before you can get to it, they're going to come into your house later and steal it later. So it's basically advertising, hey, look at me, I'm getting products sent to my house. Now, obviously people get it on their doorstep and people have to drive around and find it. But if you have a drone coming up and there's any way to see what's inside of it, or maybe Apple wants to do some advertising or something on the outside, they're going to see it, they're going to follow you there, and they're going to take it from you. So that's the way I think of things. You guys post in the comments, do you really want this? Okay, this next article has me scratching my head, but I'm kind of actually a little bit happy about it. You tell me right here, 9 to 5 Mac. Thicker, heavier iPhone 17 Pro Max revealed in new hands-on video. You can see this right here. It's a thicker, basically heavier iPhone 17 when it comes out Pro Max. Now, we're not 100% sure. This is all rumors and stuff, but this is a video that someone created, though, based off of what they think the die was for it, all right? So it's got to be a little bit thicker. So if we scroll down here, it says the iPhone 16 Pro Max was 8.25 millimeters, and then the iPhone 17 Pro Max is up to 8.725 millimeters. A big difference there. And you can see it's pretty chunky here. Now, they're saying they're doing it because of the battery. So maybe Apple's actually listening to us. And maybe the Air phone that's coming out, that's going to kind of meet the needs of the people that want it ultra thin. But just like Apple, they don't leave something alone. They go way bigger and then way smaller, and they leave nothing in between. Okay, so Apple, remember we talked about, I don't know if you watched this whole video, but in the beginning of the whole video here, we talked about Apple doing more things with gaming, having a dedicated gaming app. This one got me excited because I'm like, hey, Apple's actually doing some cool things here. Now, when I read the article, I was a little less impressed, but still, Mac rumors, Apple acquires gaming studio Rack 7. So it says right here, this is actually, what is this game? Sneaky Sasquatch. I guess it's a really big game on Apple Arcade. People love it for some reason. It says Apple has purchased Game Studio Rack 7 according to a report. I was happy, but then I read Rack 7 is a small two-person company that developed Sneaky Sasquatch. So two people developed this game. Apple bought them, and I think they're only going to make the second version of this, kind of the sequel. They just wanted the money up front to actually develop it, make it better. So, I mean, it's better than nothing, right? It's not like it's not like they're going to be buying some of the massive game studios out there and stuff like that. Maybe they spend a couple $1 million or maybe not even that. So we'll see. Still, it's moving slightly in the right direction. Okay, this is a little interesting news as well in this next one here. Mac Rumors says Apple's iPhone 16 was the best-selling smartphone in Q1 2025. Well, I mean, it's hard because it depends when they come out, right? But still, look over here. Share of world's top 10 best-selling smartphones, Q1 2025. Well, this is actually 2024 over here. And we've always said it was the iPhone 15 Pro Max. We always said it was the Pro version of it. And that was the iPhone 15, then the iPhone 15 Pro. You get the idea all the way down to the Galaxy S24 here. But over here, you can see that it's the iPhone 16. They actually took the top spot, and then the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So these kind of switched here. And it looks like people are just wanting to spend a little bit less money, I think. And those phones on the 16 just got good enough where, the change doesn't make that much of a difference to them. So Q25, it looks like it's moving in the right direction. The source here is Counterpoint's global monthly, what does this say? Handset mobile sales. You get the, I'll just put something down. I always want to give them credit so they don't come after me. I mean, this is on Mac Rumors, so I always give them credit, and I always want to give these like little graphics credit too. So there you go. Anyways, long story short, kind of interesting. Now, if you're a gamer and you have an Apple Watch, this is kind of cool, right? 9 to 5 Mac, it says this app turns your Apple Watch into a Game Boy, hands-on. So you can see a little Game Boy on the Apple Watch here with the little controller. Now, the guy goes on to say that he plays games that don't require, like, obviously super fast movement, and you can actually just kind of move around the screens and do specific things at your own will. And these are the kind of games that do well on here. But basically, if you kind of go down here, emulation on iOS. So about a year ago, due to some Apple Store policy changes, we see that they were able to allow this now. And so this is why we're getting this. And let me just go down here. So ArcEmu right here, a retro-style Game Boy emulator basically built to work with the Apple Watch. It says right here, download the app right here for $1.99. After you download it to your iPhone, it will auto-populate your Apple Watch as well. Upload your own ROMs to the iOS app. Sorry about that. ROMs will then auto-populate into the Apple Watch app. Then boom, you have ability to play the ROMs. So anyways, I'll have a link to this as well in there, or you can find it actually on 9 to 5 Mac. You can sync everything up. Long story short, I just wanted to show that it's available. You can do your own research now. Just obviously go find that app and then look it up on Google. I don't want to teach everybody how to do it, right? Although this next one I will teach you actually, just because I saw it on here. Kind of interesting though. So did you know that you can use your iPhone as a microphone instead of actually buying a microphone? Like let's say you had, for whatever reason, even like what I'm talking about now, if I didn't want to use this one. Mac Rumors, it says use your iPhone as a microphone for your Mac. So we kind of scroll down. It's just really, really simple right here. It says, on your Mac, click the Apple icon symbol in the menu bar and select System Settings. Click Sound in the sidebar. Under the Output and Input, click on the Input tab here, and then select the name of your nearby iPhone listed in the Type Community Continuity Cam. So basically right here, so it says Tim's iPhone here, and then Type is Continuity Camera right here. So you go ahead and select this right here, and then your nearby phone will go into ping with the sound and show it's connected, and then you basically can use it as the actual microphone. So if you're recording some video or something, let's say I'm using a camera over there, but I want to use my iPhone somewhere here for the microphone, or whatever you want to do, you can sync them up later in post. Totally doable. All you have to do is right there. I always like to kind of show cool things that I see that I would actually maybe buy just because they're like little trinkets and stuff. I think this is pretty cool right here. Mac Rumors says this tiny Macintosh replica actually works. Look how small this is compared to a Coke can, and it actually works. It's called the Pico Mini Nano, a super tiny yet functional Macintosh replica created by 1-Bit Rainbow, basically a website that sells parts for vintage Apple computers. So inside this basically 3D printed Macintosh is a 128K case with a small Raspberry Pi Pico microcontroller, along with a 2-inch LCD screen. And let me just see, it runs an emulated version of the classic Mac operating system, and it has USB keyboard and mouse support, believe it or not. That little teeny thing, so it's actually a working computer. It says it was selling for 56, basically, I think that's pounds there, but it has gone out of stock. So 1-Bit Rainbow, that's the name of the company. You can go ahead and see if you can find one. It looks like it's out of stock. I mean, 56 pounds, what is that, like $70 or something? I would totally pick one up, just even for the channel to have sitting right there. I'm not going to actually use it. I can barely see the thing, but still, it would be cool. Okay, this next one's kind of interesting as well. Now, you have to understand who actually sanctioned this test, and this is going to make more sense here. But still, it's interesting. Mac Rumors, it says, Android phones with Qualcomm modems top iPhone 16 in the new 5G test. So a new Cell Insights report commissioned by Qualcomm, has found that 2 unnamed Android smartphone models equipped with Qualcomm Snapdragon X75 and X80 modem achieve faster 5G speeds compared to the iPhone 16e. So obviously we know that the 16e came with the basically first ever custom designed C1 modem designed by Apple. So again, Qualcomm is losing that business, so they kind of did a study to see how slow it is. It's actually kind of shocking though. This is right here. The report found that Android devices consistently outperformed the iPhone 16e, and in terms of 5G connectivity, especially indoors. It says right here, the Android devices achieved up to 35% faster download speeds compared to the iPhone 16e and up to 91% faster upload speeds. Look at that. The report also found that the iPhone 16 frequently became hot to the touch. So you can see it right here. So, it's reporting that these Android phones that they tested with are slightly more money, $619 versus $599. They didn't tell us the name of them. Long story short, it's Qualcomm. They actually did the report and then sent it out. But still, it has to probably be true. I mean, it's probably cherry-picked in there, but still interesting. We know that modem's not the best. They're going to have to come out with this C2 version of it or whatever they call it. It's going to get better over time, but they had to start somewhere. That's why they put it in the SE. Okay, we got one more sale here for you. Pretty good sale, I think. And I always talk about this, Amazon right here. This is Amazon Renewed Store, but this is the Renewed Premium. So these are going to be very, very, very close to new. A lot of times they come in new boxes, even from Apple directly. It looks like they're refurbished and stuff. This is the Apple iPhone 16 Pro version here, but with 1 terabyte. They have it on sale right now for $10.99. So it says only 15% off, but realistically, I think this phone, if you bought it from Apple, would be like $1,600 or more. So I think it's like $600 off actually. If you bought this new. So it's it's obviously not coming from, this is how much it usually is a renewed premium, so it's not showing you as much of a savings here. I think it's like $600 off if you go with the 1 terabyte version of this phone. So it's $10.99 right now. And again, like I told you, it's not coming, there's a lot of cases where they come and people get them and they come in the Apple refurbished box when you get renewed premium. I can't guarantee that with this phone. It's always a little bit different. You can buy it and then return it if you don't like it. But I think that's a big savings if you use a lot of space on your iPhone, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to wrap up the news this week, all right? I hope everyone's having a great weekend. Like I said, the weather's slowly changing, slowly getting better here in the Chicago region. Except I know people that watch me from all over the world. I love hearing where you're from. Post in the comments if you're anywhere. I'd like to hear it. So we'll talk to you guys. I got maybe 2 or 3 videos next week. I always do the news on the weekends. I think I got 1 or 2 lined up for the week next week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. One of those days I'm going to put a couple of videos in there. So subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff, and we will talk to you in the next one. Peace.